So, good morning to everybody. I'm Camillo Magni. I'm the director of our master. And the idea for today is spend 20, 30 minutes, no more, to introduce you the master, the main topics, and the organization of our academic proposal. And there is also Professoressa Pistida, Sonia Pistida, that she is also the director of our master, and she's coming. I think that Laura Montedoro, I don't know. Laura, are you there or not yet? Because I think
No,
that she
she
has
wrote
some
that
problem.
yes, she can't reach us.
Okay, so I would like today to spend 15 minutes to introduce our master, and at the end of our presentation, we will focus on some specific topics. And if you have some questions, feel free at the end or to ask or to write in the chat, and we will try to answer you. I'm going to check also the time, not to speak too much time. Okay. Design for development, architecture, urban planning, and heritage in the Global South. Let me spend a few words about our title, design. Design is a significant word for us because the master teaching is design oriented with the idea to redefine the main challenging topics that characterize a contemporary approach, able to face the extraordinary complexity of the certain context. What it means that for us is relevant to focus our attention on the design disciplines. For this reason, the master is oriented to architect, engineer, and techniques that are connected to the space problem, we can say. The second word that defines the title, development, of our master is development. And I think that there are a lot of ways to define and to observe and to describe the meaning of development. Perhaps the more official, directly connected to the UN, UN agencies. And for example, we know that our specific knowledge is directly connected to the SDG, in particular on the 11th SDG, make city and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. But at the same time, for us, it's important with our students to enlarge the meaning, to enlarge the discussion about this word, development, and to involve to share with our students, to involve our students to focus their attention also on different meanings. For example, Amartya Sen meaning, or the official one of Muhammad Yunus, and I mean, different way to consider this word. That is the main relevant concept of our design studio. The second part of the title involve three specific disciplines: architecture, urban planning, and heritage. And is the way, and in this moment I'm moving from the topics to the teaching program, is the way to observe one specific context, the Global South, from three different point of view, the architectural one, the urban planning one, and the heritage. And during our master, we will discuss about different specific topics such as theory of change, or slum upgrading, or for example, affordable housing, emergency and recovery, risk management, and so on. The different topics that characterize the humanitarian programs. But the idea for us is to focus this, to observe and to discuss about those topics from a specific or three specific point of view, directly connected to our three different disciplines, the architecture, urban planning, and heritage. And the last word that defines the title of the master is the Global South. The Global South is, in general, is used to define a context, But for us, we consider, or we have decided to consider the meaning supported by Amartya Sen, talking about Global South, that consider those two words, Global South, not as a geographical context, but as a problematic context that is extremely more interesting for us to consider those two words as a problematic context, and is a way to consider the topics that we want to face on. And for example, if we observe some specific arguments, we describe the geography in a different way. For example, in the first slide, we can divide the world from a geographical point of view. But if we begin to consider different problems on topics, we can begin to describe the context in a totally different way. And for example, I think that is extremely interesting, this image. If we consider those data, the UNHCR data about the refugee camps, we discover that the same problem that we can face in some countries, such as the southern context, are visible also in Europe, also in Italy, also in United States, and so on. So for us, when we talk about Global South, we are talking about a problematic context, not a geographical one. Let me now, and sorry if I spend 5 minutes to define and to describe the title of the master, now I would like to spend a few words about the teaching program. So to move from the concept, from the arguments, into the organization of the master. The master is divided in 5 different modules. The first one is focused on the theory, and it will start in November, more or less, half of November, and it will be developed remotely, 3 days each week, and it will be organized in 72 hours, and it will be focused on different topics. Some of them it will be focused on slum upgrading, housing program, heritage in danger, emergency and recovery, resilient thinking, risk management, slum upgrading, and construction and self-building technologies. And those will be some topics and arguments that will be involved in the first module. After that, we will start with the second modules, the design studio, that will start on January 2025, and it will be divided in 3 different design studios that will be organized in Italy. So all the students will arrive in Italy in January, more or less, and will to attend the 3 defined studios and also the other activities that will be supported that we will be organizing into the master. The 3 design studio will be focused on the 3 different disciplines: architecture, heritage and planning, and urban planning. Oh, sorry, I made some mistake with the name, sorry. And the planning one will be led by Professoressa Montedoro. The architectural one will be led by me, and the heritage one will be led by Professoressa Pistida. Sorry, little mistake with the names. And after the third module, second module, we will enter in the third one, the workshop. The workshop is for us is a very important teaching activities. The idea is to move in San Salvador. In the previous 3 editions, we moved to Mozambique, to Maputo, and from this edition, we have decided to change the site, and we will move in San Salvador, in the capital, with the idea And I think that is an incredibly interesting opportunity for our students to be part of a larger international cooperation program supported by the Italian Cooperation Agency. So the idea is to move into the context and to work in a real international cooperation program. And the student will be involved to study the city center and to propose some specific program and some specific project to support the city center renewal. And we will spend the workshop will be organized in different moments. First week in Italy at Politecnico to to study the context and to define the strategy. After that, we will move into the context and we will spend 2 or 3 weeks more or less in San Salvador. And the main topics in this period is to visit the site, to meet the different NGO that are working, to visit the existing programs, to meet the people and the inhabitants that are living into the context, and to begin to work with them and with the local architects to define and to make better the previous strategy. After that, we will have a short break, and we will have one more week in Italy to finalize the different proposal for the final discussion that we will organize in Italy. After the third, or sorry, let me spend a few information about the organization of the workshop, and all the master will support the students with the travel cost and also for the hotels and the visa cost and the insurance also. And when we will back in Italy, we will start at the end of the third module. We will enter in the fourth one. That's the internship. The master is connected with a network made by different agencies and NGO that are working in the humanitarian sector. And the main topic for us is to push and to bring and to offer to the student the opportunity to spend 2 or 3 months or more, as you want, minimum 300 hours in a NGO or in a local or international NGO or UN agencies to enter directly in specific international cooperation programs. And after this period, we will enter in the last one, that is the thesis. We will ask the student to choose one specific argument and topic and to prepare a critical paper and a critical reflection to go back and to rethink about what the students have done during this year. And I would like to end my short presentation with a short reflection about the pedagogical strategy. And as I told you, our program is defined around 3 specific disciplines, but I think that is also important to underline that we will focus on a multidisciplinary approach with the idea to connect to enlarge the focus of our students and to bring them to be able to face the different topics that characterize the humanitarian sector, such as the business, for example, the logistic aspect, the business, unfortunately, also the business management and the capability approach, the social factor, and so on. So the idea is to enlarge our focus, our point of view, and to focus on a multidisciplinary approach. And another aspect that I would like to underline that is extremely important for us is to talk about the learning by doing. For us, it's important to spend a lot of hours about the theory, but at the same time, it's quite important to improve the learning by doing. For this reason, we have decided to organize the 3 design studio, and we have decided to organize the local, the workshop on the ground. We have decided to move all the students on the ground, because for us, only through some specific direct experience is possible to understand better the context and to learn better what we want to share. And the last point that I would like to underline is that define our pedagogical strategy is the idea to be closer to the world of work, to the real world, to train the students to be able, at the end of the master, to work directly in an international cooperation program. For this reason, the 5 different modules, we can describe the 5 different modules with this diagram, but if we consider the different topics or the different 5 modules from a specific point of view, that is the relationship with the real work, with the real international program, we can consider that the organization of our master is like a road that starts from the theory and begin to move closer to the work, to the world of work. So moving from the theory to the design studio. After that, we will move in San Salvador. After that, the student will spend 2 or 3 months in some countries, in some specific cooperation program. And at the end, we will have the opportunity to go back to reflect on the critics, on the theory of our master. And if we want to describe the master with some color, this is the diagram from the beginning to the end. The orange color defines the tools and the theory, and you can see with the green color the idea to move from the theory to learning by doing. That's all. 15 minutes, more or less, 18 minutes. And this is the, let me end with the website. This is the website of our master, where you can find the program and all the information that you need. Thanks a lot. And I'm going to stop to share my screen. Okay. And I would like to invite Sonia and also Luca Bonifacio, that are 2 professors involved into the master, if you want to focus your attention on your specific arguments and topics. Please, Sonia.
Thank you. Thank you, Camillo. I think only a few words to add to leave more space to the questions of the students, only to underline some points very important for us. One is that with this kind of path, our aim is to work with the students all together, with all the discipline together. So architecture, urban planning, and heritage are not something that we use as separate tools, but they work all together with the same aim. So try to face the challenge of the sustainable development, having a different point of view. The other point is our aim is to work with the students to develop the critical capacity to face some of the topics, some of the main issues related. In fact, often we discuss with the students, with our guests, giving some elements, critical elements as point of view, with a different point of view, as a trigger for the discussion. So to work all together, also to enhance our critical capacity to have a look to some specific issues. I don't want to spend more words, but if the students have any questions about some specific task or issues, obviously we can answer. I leave the floor to Luca.
Thank you, Sonia, and thank you, Camillo. Yes, a lot of things have been already said. Let me just explain that I will have the honor to drive you through all the understanding of the humanitarian world, because we know well that is not necessary, is not enough for you to be well trained designers and architects, but it's going to be fundamental for you to understand the reality of working with major organizations around the globe that they use specific protocols and also languages. So my task will be, first of all, to introduce you to the humanitarian world, to present to you how humanitarian organizations are structured, how they work, how they are specialized. And in the second part of the module, I will also introduce you to the theory of change, which is a framework that allows professionals from different backgrounds to understand, to working with common grounds, with a common goal, which is this is very important, and I believe that is a key difference for working as an architect in the humanitarian world. Let me also add that we are also proud to say that many of the students of the former editions have been able to work already with big organizations, specifically because they not only they are good professionals, but they also understand the language and the approach and the context. So yeah, looking forward to meet you in person, and all the best to everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, Luca. And let me add one more information that I think that's really important for us, for our students, that our professors are directly involved in humanitarian sector and international cooperation program. For example, Luca works since 25 years in this sector with UNICEF or testing different experiences from the independent NGO to the larger one, living in many different countries, working in many different countries, 6 or 8 years, I don't remember, in Angola, and so on. And personally, I have been president of Architects Sans Frontiere Italy, and for 17 years, I work in South America, in different countries of South America, Cambodia, Ghana, Mozambique, Algeria, and so on. And Sonia has worked, okay, I don't want to spend many time, but she has worked in different countries with some specific program connected to the heritage and risk, and so on. But I want to underline that our professor, the teacher that are involved in this master, are directly connected to some specific international program, because for us it's important to enrich the knowledge through specific experiences. And I think that this is a specific characteristic of our master that is directly connected to the real world.
Yes.
And okay.
And we want to share our skills and experiences with you, so with the students. So this is also one of the richness of the past editions. So the capability to build very fruitful discussion, starting also from our direct experiences in many different contexts.